All right, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH. Double honors to the elders and apostles who rule well and teach well, and salutations to the hopeful elect, those who are scattered abroad, who's teaching the truth and teaching it in sincerity. Shalom. And this video is called Do Not Fall Asleep. Okay? Do not fall asleep. This is not your rest. All right? Now, this whole world, right? It's pretty much in darkness. We are in the night. The day is at hand. The day of the Lord is at hand, right? When I say sleep, I mean sleep as in being in darkness. Also just being distracted. You know, not being, of course, not being awoke, right? We have in these last days awakened to our true nationality, right? We have awakened to, these prophecies being fulfilled, unfolding. There's a lot of prophecy being fulfilled. There's a lot of things coming to light, that a lot of people are still not hip to or privy to. They call it woke culture. They think about when you think about woke culture, I would say the many people who are actually still asleep associated with just that progressive, liberal type of ideology or mindset. But what I'm speaking on is being sleep as in not knowing what's going on as far as Bible prophecy, as far as what time you're in. Okay, so I'm gonna try not to make this video too long. I want to make it concise, straight to the point. So the first verse I'm gonna get into is Luke 22, verse 46. Start at 45. So this is an account of Yahawashi. It says, and when he rose up from prayer and was come to his disciples, he found them sleeping for sorrow, and said unto them, why sleep ye? Rise and pray, lest ye enter into temptation. Okay, so the full purpose I'm making this video is so you will not enter into temptation. You got to stay awake. All right, know what's going on, know what time you're living in, know where you at, your location. You're still in captivity, for one. So there's no time to be sleeping and resting, meaning trying to indulge into the desires of the flesh and involve yourself with the cares of this world and the affairs of this life, things that are not fruitful, things that are unprofitable, coming into, the next installment of the next kingdom, right, to come, right? Because if you keep sleeping, if you stay asleep, right, if you let the cares of this world rock you to sleep, then of course you're going to be easy. It's going to be easy for you to enter into temptation, right? You're going to entangle yourself with the affairs of this life. So that's why Yahawashi, he said it here, even though he was speaking to them physically. This is twofold, right? He's saying, lest ye enter in temptation. That means spiritually as well. You don't want to spiritually be asleep. You got to stay awake, right? You cannot get too comfortable. Some days may feel like, it's relaxing and, you get to enjoy your time off from work, or, you get your fill and you have good food and, everything's, some days, it feels very relaxing, but you can't let those things distract you from the purpose that's at hand. Can't let that distract you from staying on point, right, for the kingdom to come, or the next prophecies that are coming into fulfillment, right? It's a lot of war on the rise. It's a lot of technocracy talking on the rise. It's a lot of bills being passed that people are unaware of. You know, a lot of forwarding of different new world orders coming into play, you know, and most people are unaware of those things. All right, so let's bring out Romans chapter 13, starting at 11. It says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believed, when we believed. All right, so it's time to stay awake, right? Because the salvation is nearer than we believe. Some people say they've been saying this for 100 years, 300 years, 500 years. But, you know, this was written, what, 2,000 years ago, right? So if he said it then, I mean, how much more closer are we now? We're literally seconds away. So there's no time to just, you know, be pussyfooting around, all right? Salvation is nearer than when we believed, all right? Since the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light. All right, we have to be prepared. It says the armor of light, right? We have to be prepared in this world of darkness, right? And the night is far spent, meaning like this night, like the world is, you know, is pretty much in darkness right now, which is the nighttime, right? The nighttime. And in the night, you know, a lot of darkness, a lot of works of darkness, you know, gets, you know, people do them in the nighttime specifically. So, you know, of course, this will be the time where you should be casting off those works of darkness and dark deeds and all of those. This is spiritually, you know, spiritually too, the spiritual garment. You should be putting off that old man. You should be putting off those garments of the world with stains. You know what I'm saying? You need to be putting on the armor and the garments, you know, of salvation, of light, right? It says, let us walk honestly as in the day, because in the daytime, you know, people are not doing those same works of darkness, right? More so, like you got nightclubs. What else you got? You got a lot of different activities and festivities that go on at night in which people indulge in partying, you know, rioting, walking the streets. You know, you got night walkers, and you know, you got prostitution and things of that, and a lot of wickedness goes on at night. Okay, but in the daytime, you know, after the night is when, you know, has been spent, in the daytime people walk out and they don't do the same works as they do at night. They walk honestly. They walk as if nothing has happened that night before. You know, they go back to their day jobs, and, you know, they continue until the night comes again, or the weekend at night. And, you know, they get to do all types of wickedness. But, you know, let's keep reading. It says, but put ye on the Lord Yahawashi Hamashiach, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lusts thereof. Okay, and when I'm making this video, okay, for you know, as an exhortation for me first and foremost, but also to anyone out there that needs to hear this, because sometimes, you know, we get distracted, we get caught up in the cares of this life and the lust thereof, right? And we end up being in drunkenness. We get drunk off of the philosophies of this world, and you know, you may looking at your 401k, you know, we planning for certain vacations and things of that nature, but you constantly got to be on watch. You know, you have to have an edge, because if not, then all of those things will choke the truth from you. You know, all of those things will become thorns unto you. You know, that's why you can't be drunk all the time physically, right? You can't physically just do whatever you want to do. You can't indulge in all those types of works because it'll snuff you out, right? Look, even in wantonness, chambering, wantonness. Let's read this in the NLT, Romans 13, verse 13. Because we belong to the day, we must live decent lives for all to see. All right. It says, don't participate in the darkness of wild parties and drunkenness, or in sexual promiscuity and immoral living, or in quarreling and jealousy. All right. So there's no time to be doing all that, because that thing it'll doing all of these things, it'll drain you, for one. And before you know, you look up and you realize, like, oh, it's been 3 years, 3 years done passed by, and you have done nothing to secure, or try to secure any hope of salvation. Okay. It's time to redeem the time. It's time to stop trying to fulfill the lust of your flesh, because it's only going to keep you in that hole. All right. Which is a dark hole. All right. Let's go a little bit, 2 chapters ago. This is Romans 11, verse 8. It says, according as it is written, God hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day. Okay, so this actually was written in the scripture, I believe Isaiah 6:9 or Isaiah 29:10, somewhere around that area. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, it's the spirit of slumber. So there is a spirit out here that's actually keeping people's eyes closed and shut, because everybody is not meant to hear and not meant to see these things to come, right? And all the way into the day of destruction. All right, so if you are aware and you have been awakened to the fact of what's going on in this world, then you need to be that much more on point and making sure that you stay awake so you won't enter into temptation. All right, because obviously it was a reason for you to be awake, to have that slumber taken off of your eyes. All right. All right, let's move on. I want to get 1 Thessalonians real quick. 1 Thessalonians 5. It's a lot of distractions in this world. You got social media. You got what else? It's just plenty of other cares of this life that take your mind off of what's important, right? What's fruitful. All right, this is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Let's start at let's start at 2. Yeah. It says, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. All right, so this is what happens when you just clueless of what's going on. You sleep, you drunk, in the spirit. You think everything is going well. It says peace and safety. In this world, it's a lot of subtlety to have you believe that things are going to be peaceful, and the world government has your best interest at heart. All right, and they're going to try to implement certain things that are detrimental to you, but you believe that they are actually giving you support or supporting you in a time of distress, right? Because contrary to what people may know, a lot of things are on the left-hand side are, created to create a problem. They create a problem and they come up with solutions in order to subtly take your rights away, right? But you are in captivity anyways. So, you know, they give you all of this support in the support system, right? Give you stimulus and all these things. You know, you got good paying jobs, so called, and you know, they take away a lot and then they give a little bit back. And then, you know, we still, you know, the people, they're still in distress. They're still needing help. And they pass these policies to choke you of your rights and your freedom. And it'll be something that people actually ask for, right? So now that's why you have more of a police state in certain areas. I'm not trying to get off topic, but it's a lot of new policies and regulations and bills being passed coming down the pipeline, what people look at as peace and safety. You know, people think that we are back into, you know, normalcy before the vid, right? But things are not going to go back to normal. There's going to be a new norm, all right? But that's why you have to be, you know, awake and stay awake so you won't enter into temptation, right? Or be caught up in the snare of this peace and safety. It says, but ye brethren are not in darkness, that they should overtake you as a thief, right? The people that are awake, the Israelites that are awake, they know what's to come. They know what to expect. So of course they're not going to be surprised. Okay, because they're not in darkness. It says, ye are all the children of the day, of the light, and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Okay, so as a child of the light, a child of the day, right? You're not going to be putting in work. You're going to be putting in work for the works of darkness. You're going to be walking honestly as in the day. Okay. It says, therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Okay. You can't get drunk. People can get drunk off more than just alcohol, because alcohol really is spirits. Okay. There's spirits that can make you drunk. You know, every part of life that we do, anything that we do, there's spiritual, some spirits are involved. Okay. A lot of people are, you know what I'm saying, drunk off of like I said, social media, their jobs, what else? Just luxuries of life, themselves. You know, a lot of people are covetous. You know, the cares of this world, that's what you can be drunk off of. You know, it's a spirit and everything. You know, maybe you indulge in certain things that are too much, and it makes you drunk. You know, makes you not sober. When you're sober, you're thinking more clearly. You know, you have clarity in your mind. Your vision is not blurred, right? And you can discern and make better decisions, right? So that's what it means to not be asleep. You know, you constantly have to stay alert. You constantly have to take account, you know, of where what's going on in the world. You know, news, prophecy, right? Because at any moment, right now, we in a day and age where that rug is about to get pulled. The plug is about to get pulled. You know, people are going to be in complete. They thought they, you know, you think they're in darkness now, but they're going to be even in more darkness. You know, those who are in sleep, they're in a deep sleep. All right, it says, for they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. Right? So, you know, sleep and getting drunk, most of those activities, those are nighttime things, right? So, of course, it's going to be done in the night. And that's is going on right now, as in the days of Noah. It says, but let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet, the hope of salvation. So those who are not asleep, they have the hope of salvation. They're watching, they're looking forward, they're being patient. You know, these scriptures are giving them comfort, okay, of things to come. To they're seeking the kingdom instead of seeking the pleasures of this world, right? Because it'll suck you in. It's like, you know, you got the internet. The internet it can be a snare, okay? It's no wonder why it's called internet, because you entering into a net. You have to be very you have to be like a spider, right, on the web. They move freely on the web without getting caught up in it, right? Because they have some sort of uh, I don't know what it is, but it's some type of animal biological uh, substance that comes off of their body, in which they can glide and walk among the net, or the web, I should say, without, you know, getting stuck as other bugs do. Okay, even humans, you know, you get that spider web on you, it's hard for it to come off. But yeah, I'm just speaking on the fact that if you're not awake, you're going to get caught up in that snare. All right, so let's go over to Colossians chapter 4, verse 5. It says, walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. All right, let's read it in NLT. It says, live wisely among those who are not believers and make the most of every opportunity. All right, so we're supposed to be redeeming the time, okay? And redeeming the time when we're walking amongst the people who are asleep or who are not believers, right? You're supposed to be living honestly, living wisely, walking wisely, right? You don't want to get caught up into the ways of the world, you know, because remember, love of the world is enmity, you know what I'm saying, with the Most High. Okay, so it's another warning, it's another exhortation to walk in wisdom, because remember, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of your times. All right, pursuant to, I believe that's Isaiah, I want to say 33, somewhere around Isaiah. All right. All right, let's go. Let's hit a few more verses and then I'm gonna close out. All right, so let's hit the Sirach. All right, this is Sirach chapter 27, verse 12. It says, if thou be among the indiscreet, observe the time, but be continually among men of understanding. All right, so those who are the indiscreet are the men without understanding. These are the people without understanding, right? These are the people who are asleep. So even when you're around people, you know, you may do some small talk, you know, we're in the world, but we're not of the world. So, of course, you know, you just have to deal wisely, you know. This is why it says, be continually among men of understanding. When you're around like-minded people who understand the times and can discern things that are coming on the face of the earth, you know, like the hour of temptation, Jacob's trouble, all the other prophecies that are passing, then of course, you know, you're spending your time wisely, okay? You have when you're with men of understanding, right? You can have a more fruitful discourse, right? That can actually help you instead of being around, you know, well, I'll just say when you're around people, the indiscreet, okay, just try not to tarry too long, okay? Just keep it short, keep it simple, you know, and think upon the time that you're in. All right. Let's go over to 1 Peter Let's go. Let's bring out 1 Peter chapter 5. I think y'all should know. All right, it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. All right, so, when you sleep, right, you're in your most vulnerable position, vulnerable state of mind, because you have no way to guard yourself physically. You have no way to tell what's going on outside in the world. There's no you just you're asleep, so you don't know what's going on, right? Anything could be happening. You may wake up the next day and find out some terrible news, you know what I'm saying? And then you would think, like, if I was up during that time, I could have done something. But we're in these corruptible bodies, so of course we actually need physical sleep. But I said all of that to say is that when you sleep, the devil, he don't sleep, right? So he's constantly working. So you kind of, like, when you wake up, you got to be that much more on point, because you just missed a lot of time that passed by, because we're in these corruptible bodies that need to actually sleep. So you gotta be aware that for that day that you wake up, that there's going to be some snares, there's going to be some traps laid up for you, that you can just stay awake for and be more prepared. So now you got to prepare yourself even more, right? That's why you got to be vigilant. You got to constantly be in the scriptures, constantly praying without ceasing, okay? Because the devil, right, he's as a lion walking about, seeking whom he may devour. He's trying to sift you out, okay? That's the whole job or task of the devil, Satan, is to sift you out. And it's a lot of subtlety that goes on with the devil, so you have to be more aware, all right? That's why you got to constantly be on edge. Like everything happens in the spirit before it happens in manifested in the physical, all right? So be sober, be vigilant, all right? Be sober and be vigilant. You got to watch out. You got to stay alert, all right? Moving on, Luke 21 and 34. It says, and take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and the cares of this life, and so that they come upon you unawares. All right, so this is what it's going to feel like. How it feels when if somebody walks in on you while you're using the bathroom and you're in the midst of trying to change your clothes. They walk in basically on you half naked. You know what I'm saying? You don't want that day to take over you or come upon you while you half naked. And when you naked spiritually, that's in sin. All right. So when you're overcharged with surfeiting, that's like just indulgence. Indulging in whatever it is. It could be alcohol, it could be anything. It could be social media, it could be dealing with people on a intimate level, right? You just constantly gotta remember to stay involved in building your faith. Stay involved in being prepared, right, in the mind, right? And you don't want the cares of this life. A lot of people of this world, I should say, they're really, really into posting, whether it be on Instagram or whether it be any of those platforms. Their whole life is based on this image that they put out, and they're not really paying attention to what's going on, like while they're trying to figure out what pictures to use or anything that you put your time into. Just got to be aware of how much time you're giving to the things of this world, that is actually pleasing your flesh more than it is actually helping you be more fruitful in the spirit, or build up that spiritual money for when it's time to reap what has been sold. Okay? Because when the day of the Lord gets here, you know, you don't want to be you you don't want to be unstable, you know, caught up, you know, as if you were naked. If somebody walked in on you naked, it'll throw you off. You don't know what to expect. All right, so it says in the NLT, watch out. Don't let your hearts be dulled by carousing and drunkenness and by the worries of this life. Don't let that day catch you unaware, like a trap, for that day will come upon everyone living on the earth. All right, so the whole earth is going to be tried. You know, the whole earth is going to have to go through the tribulation, right? The tribulation period. And you don't want that to be you. So you got to constantly stay on point. Think about the time you're spending and think about if is it worth it? Whatever time you're spending on anything in this world, think about, is it worth spending my time on, put my effort towards trying to reap benefits, you know, or should I put stock into this or stock into that, right? Just worry about the kingdom, right? Seek ye first the kingdom, and all these things will be added unto you. All right. So that's how you can, you know, stay awake and be diligent, is to think about if it's profitable. You know, of course, people in our flesh, we think about what's profitable in this world, right, as well. But also you got to think about the cares of the next life, because that's the cares of this life. What you're gonna wear, you know, what kind of shoes you're gonna buy, when the next season of football, or you know, who's getting traded on the basketball team, NBA, all these things are the cares of this life. Okay. It says KJV says, watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. All right, it says keep alert at all times and pray. You gotta pray without ceasing, because as soon as you stop praying, you know, that don't mean, you know, the devil, he's still gonna hunt, right? That don't mean you pray once a week or once a day and think everything is all good. That, you know, no, there's still traps and snares being laid up for you, you know, constantly. This is a constant thing, you know. That's why I said even when you sleep, there's traps and snares being laid up ready for you for the next day. So you gotta prepare yourself for that and put on that armor of light, you know, so you can travel through this world of darkness. You know what I'm saying? Walk honestly, and you know, basically just stay alert. Watch. Okay, so let's move on to 2 Peter. 2 Peter chapter 1. Verse 10. Wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure, for if ye do these things, ye shall never fail. Okay? If you give diligence, let's look at that word diligence. That means that you constantly, like there's no stopping. You know, you gotta be consistently trying to make sure you don't fall asleep. You gotta be consistent and persistent. All right, it says to hasten, make haste, right? To exert oneself, endeavor, give diligence. This is your aspiration. You know, this is what you should be laboring for, studying for. That's what, you know, giving diligence. You should constantly be studying. You should constantly be praying. You know what I'm saying? Because as soon as something happens that make you feel your flesh feels good, you automatically, you know, things start to get relaxed, right? And you may have used to pray 3 times a day. Now you're praying only one time a day. Maybe now you're only praying when you get up in the morning. You know, maybe now you don't study as much. Used to read 10 chapters a day, right? You used to watch videos every day. But now maybe you only read like a verse here and a verse there every other week. Like, because you don't got comfortable, right? Something pleased the flesh, and now your flesh is constantly wanting to fulfill that need, that pleasure, right? And you are putting away the spirit. You're not walking in the spirit, therefore now you're asleep. Now you're in the darkness. All right, so that's why you have to give diligence to make your calling and election sure, because nobody knows really if they're of the elect. Okay, you have to constantly put in work as if you're trying to, you're in a race. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to get elected. Okay, so you don't really have time to sleep at all. All right, so you have to stay awake. Do not fall asleep. All right, I'm gonna hit one more verse. So if you feel like you've fallen asleep, right, then maybe you want to pray before you get too deep in that sleep, before you start dozing off in this world. All right, this is Psalm 119, verse 25. It says, Daleth, my soul cleaveth unto the dust. Quicken thou me according to your word. All right, so quicken. So it says, my soul cleaveth unto the dust. All right, so the dust, of course, is a lowly estate, but it's also a place where the ground is, where the grave, and sleep is basically the same as close to death. All right, so if you want to stay awake, ask the Lord to quicken you according to his word. All right, so you're gonna have to go into the testimonies, go into the reading, meditating, right? Meditate on those things. The kingdom. Meditate on the kingdom, right? Let me go look at that word quicken. All right, quicken means to have life. All right, let's see, from faintness, right? So you don't want to faint in this thing. You want to be quickened from death. You want to be preserved. You want to be restored. Okay? From discouragement, right? But yeah, so you want to be quickened from fainting in this thing, from going to sleep. All right, this is 37. Turn away mine eyes from beholding vanity, and quicken thou me in your way. All right, so vanity is of this world. If your eyes are beholding vanity, you get caught up, then you can pretty much fall asleep. Right? That's why it says turn my eyes from worthless things, because that's what vanity is, and give me life through your word. So help me faint not. So you want to pray, that you do not fall asleep, because if you do, you're going to be, caught out there, basically. All right. So do not fall asleep. Please don't fall asleep. Stay diligent, stay vigilant, stay sober. Remove distractions from your eyes. Remove all the distractions, anything that's taking too much of your time. It could honestly be a snare and a trap for you, right? Everything is not convenient for every brother or sister. Everybody can't do everything the other person does and still, put in and work for the kingdom. All right. So yeah, stay alert, stay on watch, do not fall asleep. Giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH. Shalom.